Selwyn here from WynnStrength.com, bringing you the first day of the 8th week of the Darkhorse Training program by Brian Alsruhe. Like usual, I'll leave links below for Brian Alsruhe's original video where he goes over the program and explains what it is about, as well as the LiftBot website where they've released a free Google spreadsheet so you can actually do the program at home. They've done all the hard work and placed all the information from the video into a usable spreadsheet. So we're starting off the first day of the 8th week with some more variations. I wasn't a big fan of the Dimmel deadlifts for this specific application of that movement, just because it is more of a dynamic assistance movement, whereas here we're really trying to target that max effort as well as volume. So we're trying to get some heavy weights for the first part and then a bit more volume in the next part. And we've already got our dynamic movement for the day with the banded squat, deadlift, bench, overhead press. So by inserting that Dimmel deadlift, I was feeling like it was inducing some extra fatigue and not driving up the adaptations that I think the program is actually targeting. So we switched that over to some suitcase deadlifts, just using one of the farmer handle carries from Titan. I'll leave a review up here. You can check that video out. But again, just one-sided work, trying to mitigate that load while still increasing that difficulty and increasing that time under tension. One thing to keep in mind with the suitcase deadlift is that it has a tendency to turn into a side bend almost. So it's because it is one-sided, obviously. You have to be sure to stay balanced on kind of both feet and make sure you don't switch over to just leaning over and side bending that weight up, because now we're doing more of an ab movement and not really targeting that posterior chain and a deadlift assistance movement. It just becomes an ab movement. So think about that when you do the movement. Again, I don't know if I'll keep this for the 9th week, just because I experienced that movement difficulty, I guess, for myself, just because I'm not too versed in it. And thinking about it, I don't know if the transfer over to the deadlift is going to be as great as other deadlift accessory movements. With that being said, we did do all of our max effort and volume work with that. We hit a top set of 125 reps of 15 aside. Again, kind of a cool movement to throw in every now and then. Possibly a good warm-up movement or a cool-down conditioning movement. Plug it in at the start or the end of the movement, but I don't think it should make up the bulk or the main accessory movement for the day, just because it does vary a lot from your initial deadlift movement itself. Its variance is quite steep because now we're involving one side, one hand, 2 legs. A lot more balance is getting involved into this movement. And we're really, if you look at the form, it is a much different, very different movement than a regular deadlift. Not to say it's not useful, but I think if we're trying to target a deadlift accessory movement, the suitcase deadlift probably isn't the high up on that specificity order of exercises. After that, for our max effort, we did go to the Anderson squat again. So for those not familiar, the Anderson squat is that squat where you start from the bottom, you set the pin heights so they're just above where you would be parallel, and you kind of wriggle your way under the bar and squat up and then squat back down again. Try not to bounce the bar off of the bottom of the pins. Just like a pin squat, kind of want to set them down, reset a little bit, and then stand back up again. We're not trying to go for the rebound off of those pins. I've actually wrapped some rubber around my metal safety pin so that I would reduce damage to the barbell or the pins either way. You can use this cheap rubber matting or roll from Amazon or online. Even a pool noodle will probably help, just something really cheap. It doesn't have to be super thick, because we're really just wanting to stop that knurling on the barbell getting contact with metal. We're trying to reduce any metal to metal contact, just because it can degrade that metal depending on which one is harder. I'm assuming I'm going to degrade the safety pins before the knurling on the barbell will get affected, but again, I don't want to take any chances, especially with a nice barbell like that. And it kind of helps to mitigate that damage that you'll see with the knurling there. That's kind of why we have the HW plastic on the J cups, just so we're not having that metal on metal action. Again, it's not good for anything, and especially for the sake of a couple of bucks, you can save some damage to both your equipment, your rack, and your barbell. So something to think about there. Again, when we get to the bottom of the Anderson squat, don't really bounce it off the bottom, just kind of set it down gently, just like a box squat. You don't want to bang onto the bottom of the box squat. You just kind of want to gently sit down and then to a degree you relax a little bit, mainly the legs, try and take some load off the legs while maintaining that core tightness, and then readjust and then fire back up again and then stop at the bottom. So that's the Anderson squat in a nutshell. From there, we move on to our volume work for the day. Again, very same movements, and also trying new thing where I'm trying to cut out some movements just so I can get through the whole workout within that hour 20, hour 15 total workout time frame. I didn't do any more of the ab conditioning or the last set of anything. So we really just did 2 sets of suitcase deadlifts and box squats now that are supersetted with a 2-minute rest in between. So kind of deviating a little bit more from the program than I would like, but trying to keep that program intact and trying to keep that workout time frame down as well. So a couple of things coming into the play here. For the volume, we did drop that down to 225 for a set of 12 and a set of 10. Thought that was good. I'm getting some good volume and some good time under tension here. I think the volume work is kind of playing well with the hypertrophy for the squats as well as all the other movements, so that's a great thing. But I do think that when the weights start to get heavier, conditioning starts to catch up with me, and those rest periods start to drag out just that little bit, and I'm noticing it's in between the movements where that little rest, that little phase change between each movement is kind of dragging out, and that's what is causing me to have these hour-and-a-half long workouts if I was to complete the entire workout as prescribed. And again, cutting it off again, so we do dynamic deadlifts. Prescribed workout is 10-minute EMOM. I only got halfway through that, so we just did 5 minutes, and we did stick with that 225-pound weight that we've been using for the last couple of weeks. I'm noticing I'm just getting really fatigued with the extra work at the top of the day, or the top of the workout. By the time we hit to that bottom last set, I'm just super fatigued, and I notice that my form breaks down and my speed just isn't there, especially with that elastic energy from the bands, just making it really difficult. Those are really good addition to the training stimulus, but very brutal addition to the training stimulus. Halfway through the last phase, so we just have one more phase of this, or one more week of this phase of training, and then one more week of the actual program. After this, we will be wrapping up and testing my 4 main movements to see how we've traveled along here. With that in mind, I'll leave a playlist right here where you can catch up on previous episodes of the Darkhorse Training program, as well as see those new results, as well as my final overall rating and review of the program. This has been Selwyn from WynnStrength, and remember, a better life through strength.